Hello and welcome back to Discover Me TV with Jordan Toronto. And today I'm here with Lauren Letherer.
Hello.
Actor and acting coach, acting teacher. You were telling me a little bit about how there was a really long period of time when you did not want to do this after studying it. Okay,
yes.
Tell me about that.
Because I came out here to be an actor, you know, and coming out to LA, all of a sudden you're like so many people, okay, I'm here. And then you go, I have no idea what I'm doing. And luckily I got into Cal Arts. And so I graduated from Cal Arts with an acting degree, I mean, yes, I have an acting degree. And so after I graduated, everybody started working almost immediately. I went to school with Don Cheadle, and he was working. He started going to auditions while he was still in school. And I was living with a guy who was on a TV show for 5 years. And so like everybody seemed to be doing really, really well. And I was like, I can't find an agent. And then I finally found an agent. But when I started auditioning, everything was terrifying. Everything was life or death. I'd have one line and I'd walk in and go, okay, I'm ready. And I would and literally everyone was scared for me. They're like, oh, baby, oh, are you okay?
You're like, that's really the impression I want to make.
Yeah, I really want everyone to be fearful for me. Like, are you going to have a heart attack? I mean, what's going on? It was awful. It was awful. So
were you just like, on second thought, I'm not going to do this?
No, it was heartbreaking for me. But I also thought, you know what? This is so terrifying for me that maybe this is not my thing.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I take it so seriously and I love it so much. And I almost want it so much that I think, oh, so anyway, I gave it up and I just went, it's not for me. And I was a caterer for like 28 years. And I was so good at it.
Wow.
I was so good at it. And, but I hated it so much. I didn't hate it, but I was miserable. You know what I mean?
Because it was just like, I'm good at it, but it's wrong. It's not what I want to be doing.
The creativity of it. You know, there was my creative soul was slowly dying.
Yes.
So I slowly got back into acting just by like taking a class. And then I got into commercial casting. I did that for 13 years.
Oh.
And then I started acting in commercials. And then that was kind of the way I made my living for the last 15 years.
Wow.
That and voiceover, super fun, right?
Nice.
And that allowed me to do a lot of theater. So I've done like 25 plays in the last, I don't know, 18 years.
Perfect. So then you didn't have to worry about whether they were a lucrative thing. You got to just do what you wanted to do.
Yeah. So I was still catering though and still doing that because the downtimes in between commercials.
Sure.
It's just, you know, like an
never
actor, a
know.
day job. Right. But then the last 3.5, almost 4 years, I guess 4 years I've been teaching now is my day job.
Nice.
And that has been really exciting and rewarding just because I kind of feel like I'm not a master of acting and I would never tell anybody I was, but I have made every mistake in the book. And so I can literally look at somebody and go, oh, I've done that. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah, I know that. Or I still go through that. Okay, let me see if I can help you get out of that.
Pay it forward.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, well, it's so nice because honestly, sometimes I think we forget that that people who are aspiring and new, they haven't heard it all, you know?
I know. I love to blow their minds when they go, I'm sorry, what did you just say? Oh, yeah, I get it. Okay. And then all of a sudden you see their work just start changing or you see something in them. Because really, mainly the way we teach there is just where do you hold back?
Oh.
You know, where's your energy holding back? Is it emotionally or physically or, you know? And so like I try to figure out ways to open it up rather than just point it out. Like, you're doing this. Stop that.
Right.
Because then all they think is I have to stop doing something.
Right. And they're still thinking about the thing to not do.
Right.
Far more than anything to
Right. So like physically, if somebody's holding back, instead of pointing that out and making them go into their head going, oh, I need to stop shuffling my feet, which is like a really normal one for beginning actors because they don't even realize that the energy is dissipating through their feet. So they shuffle. You give them something else to focus on and then all of a sudden that stops.
Their feet calm down.
Yeah, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, let me help you focus somewhere else.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that probably also hands, is that similar to...
Oh,
they never know what to do with their hands.
Chop, you know, the karate chop thing or that, you know, so sometimes like we'll put a tray on their hand and pile stuff up and then suddenly they have to become very focused on not dropping the thing on the tray.
It's such a simple thing that could make such a huge difference, right?
Right. Or you make them, you know, start doing push-ups or run around or start dancing. Dancing's a big one. Yeah. And then like, I don't dance. I'm like, no one, it's fine. It's not about good dancing. It's about getting out of your own head and just getting physically into your own body.
Nice.
So like you're going to do an interpretive dance. I'm going to play a little music for you.
Yeah, I love it.
And it makes them or make them start singing, you know?
Yes.
Singing all your lines, you know? You're going to suddenly start
Nice.
serenading the other person. So it's so cool to find different avenues to get them out of their head.
Nice.
It's really cool. Or doing a whole scene without the dialogue, just making, you know, noises or just moving through it without any dialogue.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
then you can't get caught just like using the words to hide behind or
right, because somebody will just be acting from here up, you know, like they'll be locked down, their whole body will be locked down, but they'll go, I'm saying all the correct words though, and it's like, yeah, but you're not really you're not feeling your way through the scene, so let's physically get into it. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool things that we do, and sometimes you just go, I mean, I remember the big click for me in the studio was I was doing a love scene and I was trying to do it correctly. And all of a sudden the teacher went, Lauren, do it like Jabba the Hutt. And I was like, but what? I don't know. I don't know. Just do it. And I'm like, okay. So I had to suddenly do this love scene like, I love you. No, but truly the scene suddenly made sense. And I was so out of my head. And I had fun on top of it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I love the scene finally made sense when it was Java. But that's so good. And it's also, it just like frees you to just be like, well, like all bets are off. Like there's no way I can do this right.
I can't do it right, and this is not going to be good, and I'm not going to be sexy, and like I can't pose my way through it.
Right.
I've got to just go and throw myself in.
Right. Because literally, there's no way to go for any of those other possible right options.
No. And you just get so far out of your head that suddenly you start having fun. Which is kind of the point.
What a concept, right?
Yeah.
I know. Which I think was probably right when you left acting, were you just like, I'm not having fun?
I was not having fun. I was in terror. I mean, every single moment of it was life or death. Every single audition, I would come home and just weep uncontrollably going, I don't know why this isn't working. You know?
Now, when you were in school, were you like, I love it? Like, were you still happy?
Well, you know what? I came out here and I went to CalArts. You know? It was only 21 of us in this class. And at the end of the first year, they kicked out all but 5. They played God. They would say, even if you showed up to every class and did everything that was asked of you, they go, you have no talent. You're not good enough. And so I lived the whole first year going, I'm going to be kicked out. Well, everybody else was kicked out. It was still traumatizing, you know, because my best friend, who's still my best friend 33 years later.
Oh my gosh.
She got kicked out, and she actually is a first AD now in film and TV. But
cool.
So the whole time I was there, I just kept thinking, I'm going to get kicked out. It was just living in terror for 3 years.
Well, no wonder that really set you up to come out here and just continue to live in terror then? Right. To always assume that you're just being judged?
Right. And that you're not good enough.
Right.
And that somehow at any moment it's going to stop and you're going to get kicked out, you know. Oh. So I mean, it changed my life because I met a bunch of people that, you know, because I found my tribe. Whereas in New Mexico, I didn't have a tribe.
Wow.
So that was cool. And I did learn a lot, but it was, the training then was all breaking down a scene. I was so good at homework. I knew my through line. I knew my moment before. I knew what my couch looked like. I knew what my grandmother did. I knew her name. I would have notebooks, character notebooks, and I would, in the margins, you know, you would just see all this writing and things underlined and things circled, and then I would go and try to execute that. And it was dry, horrible acting, and then when I was done, all I felt was like, I didn't do what I wanted to do.
Oh my gosh, because it was all just so well thought out.
Well, you know those actors that sit and you can see there's like, woo! There's no feeling going on behind this. Like,
yes,
I know, this is the way I learned this line.
And I got a plan.
Yeah.
Here.
And like, you know, somebody could punch you in the middle of a scene. I remember once a director threw a shoe at me in the middle of a monologue. Didn't change me one bit. I was like, I dodged the shoe and just kept going.
You were like, you cannot deter me.
I'm locked in.
Oh my gosh, that's fascinating.
Yeah. As human beings, I always give this, I think this is really interesting. Like I always talk about, like, if you want to break up with somebody that you've been dating for a really long time, you start building a case in your head.
Yes.
You know, you start thinking, okay, how am I going to say this? Oh, you know what? You always leave your dishes in the sink. You forgot my birthday. My mom doesn't like you. And if it gets really bad, then you can pull out the big one. You're bad in bed.
Yeah.
End of conversation. So you practice, then you finally realize, okay, it's time. I'm going to go and I'm going to tell them. And so you walk in and say, look, we need to talk. I want to break up. And they go, okay. And they walk out. Where's your speech? What happened to your speech?
Right.
Or you walk in and say, oh, I need to break up. And they say, And they throw themselves on the ground and start weeping uncontrollably, saying, "Oh my God, I'm going to kill myself. Please don't leave me." Are you going to stand over them and go, "You're bad in bed"? No, or you go in and you tell them, "Oh, I got to break up with you," and they start laughing at you, going, "Babe, you're so dumb. Of course you don't want to break up with me." And they start making out with you, and you go, "Oh, I kind of okay."
Like that.
So I always talk to actors like, of course you're going to have a preconceived notion of how things are going to go. Of course you are.
Right.
Because you're human and your control brain is going to want to do it a certain way.
Sure.
But the minute you're with somebody else in the room, they're going to throw something at you that you're not going to be prepared for.
Right.
So you're going to have to figure out how to do what you need to do and get what you need to get from them with what you're getting in that moment.
Yeah.
So you need to stay open in that moment.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
and is it so satisfying to watch that shift somebody?
That click, Because really what's interesting about human beings is when they get off kilter.
Yeah.
Is that the minute they feel uncomfortable is exactly like one of my teachers said the other day, which I thought this was brilliant. When you're tripping and you see someone trip, like immediately all their defenses, you'd see who they really are in that split second of like, "Oh my God." And I said, in acting, that's all we're trying to get at.
Yeah.
When you lean into that uncomfortability, that's when I can see who you truly are.
Right.
It's
And
not when you're in control.
It's
not when you're in control and you've got everything handled.
No.
It's when things go off kilter. I always tell my actors, lean into that. Because that's when it's fascinating. And that's when you can't control the moment.
Right.
Right?
Right.
It's kind of like when like grief or something comes up and all of a sudden you start crying in the most inappropriate moment.
Right.
And
you're
people
like,
go like, "I don't want to,
I
don't," and they start fighting it, but it's still coming up and they have no control over it. That's what's fascinating, and that's what opens up your heart to somebody else, right?
Yes, and that's why somebody watching an actor, or just being in a room with somebody who is all of a sudden just honest and vulnerable, like, it's so compelling. It's so fascinating to watch. And then you care. You do.
And you connect with them on a completely different level rather than watching and observing. You connect with them in an emotional way.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. That's really cool.
Yeah, because there's a thing called emotional, menopause brain. Okay, I'll think of it. But it's that thing when an audience connects with you emotionally, like when you watch something and suddenly you just burst into tears.
Yeah.
And you go, yeah. That's exactly.
I would say that's like that, like when you recognize something. And sometimes I've noticed this about stand-up comedy. I did stand-up comedy for a while, and I also just love more, which is so crazy. I'm such a wimp about so many things, so it is hilarious to me that I've done stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Because to most people, they'd be like, that's the one thing I would never do. And I'm like, go figure. I'm so scared of so many things. I'll go on like half the rides in an amusement park, but I will stand up and do stand-up comedy.
But
I don't know.
that's the thing that you know immediately if it's working or not.
Right.
And you're up there by yourself. And you
Right.
have no one else to save you.
And there's nothing like comedy. Immediately you know if they're with you or they're not.
Yeah.
Like, there's no question about it.
There's no question.
There's sometimes when you're doing something that doesn't require a laugh that you're like, maybe the audience is with me, maybe they're not. But yeah, it either gets a laugh or it doesn't. But I think what sometimes that laughter is like that recognition. Like, yes, you're like putting words to something I've never put words to. Exactly. And I recognize the thing you're describing. And right. I think that's when people are so good, when they can just capture something that is like a universal experience and like put words to it. And that's why people laugh, because they're like, thank you. Like you feel so like appreciative as an audience.
It's like, oh, I'm not alone.
Thank you for saying that.
Yes. Yeah.
And that makes us sort of laugh or cry or whatever it does. But I think, that recognition, like, yes, you get it. You get a piece of me because you seem to have been experiencing it too. So yeah.
Oh, I remembered the word. It's empathic accuracy.
Ooh, love
empathic accuracy, when an audience connects with you emotionally.
Nice.
And they have the exact same experience that you're going through as an actor.
Ooh.
And I think it's really important right now because so many people are shut down and so many people are addicted to technology.
Yeah.
That I feel like human nature as a whole is kind of shutting down and numbing out, and so a lot of times people don't have any access to their emotions unless they watch somebody else go through it, and then they have emotion and they're like, oh, I think it's kind of noble, actually, a weird thing that actors are suddenly very noble because we need it. I think we've always needed storytelling, but I think the emotional component is even bigger now than it ever has been. Yeah.
And then has the terror left?
You know, it's so interesting. I have like a whole lecture, like a half-hour lecture on terror because I was such a genius at it. I was
You're like, now that I'm an expert at.
I'm really good at being scared and nervous and letting your brain just overtake you. Like I was teaching a kids class this weekend and we did a little showcase and this girl, and we did a warm up and stuff, but this girl ran up to me like 15 minutes before she was starting. She goes, I think I'm going to vomit. Can you help me? I think I'm going to vomit. I go, oh yeah, I can. Good. Okay, everybody come on. Is anybody else going to vomit? Now, wait. Great. So we did all these exercises to just get them out of their head. And yeah.
That's like a beautiful full circle thing that you're like, yes, I'm going to impart knowledge.
Yes, all the knowledge that I've learned of how not to be terrified. And I love the adrenaline pump now.
Sure.
You know?
Right.
And there is that moment where you go, this could all go really badly, but that's kind of the exciting thing now. Like, oh yeah, let it go bad.
I think there's probably a satisfaction in being like, oh, I can help someone else.
Yes. Because as an actor, I mean, you and I both know too that you don't ever hit a point where you go, and now I need no more class.
Yes, I know.
Now I know everything I need to know because as an artist, we're changing constantly as humans.
Right.
And so our craft is constantly changing.
Yeah.
And that is the only thing that drives me crazy in LA is people go, yeah, I took an acting class.
And they act like, and end of scene.
I go, oh, are you done? That's it? That's all we're going to do? You know, because if you think about different art forms like sculpting and dancing and musicians, I mean, they're practicing constantly.
Right. There's never an end to training or getting better.
No, but
often there's that mentality
daily.
Here where you're just like, well, I've trained and now I'm doing.
And now you sit and wait for the phone to ring going, where are my auditions? But, you know, so if I'm not in a class, then I'm doing a play.
Got it.
I'm doing something constantly every single week. It's just so fun. It's so fun to just, and that's really one of my things is just like, you know what, acting's fun.
Oh,
acting's really fun.
Yes.
And actually, if you're not having fun, even if you're doing something really dark and emotional, but if it's not fun, you're kind of not doing it right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say there's a right and wrong, but you know, you're robbing yourself of the whole experience.
Right, but if there's no fun, then you're just
because you know those artists that live in joy. I mean, that just live in joy.
Yes.
You know, I always think of. Well, I mean, Meryl Streep is a great example. Like, that is just a joyful actor. No matter what she's doing, she's in joy. And that's just me. I love every form of it. I love, like, when you're in a tech rehearsal, and it's like a 12-hour day, and everybody's like, ah! And you're basically just, as an actor, you're just a piece of meat. Like, move over here, say your line, and then they try to get the sound, and is the set right, and how's your costume? And people are like, God, be doing anything else, and I went, really? Not me.
That's perfect then.
I'm so excited
because if you can enjoy that, then you are doing what you should be doing.
You're on set, you know, and you're just sitting there for hours waiting in your trailer, and I just sit there going, this is so crazy, I'm so happy, you know. And you just sit there and you start really realizing how stupidly fun our job is.
You're literally playing. You're pretending.
Just like a little kid putting that cape on, you know, going, I'm going to be Superman today. I always tell my actors, I go, look at how dumb it is what we do. Here's a piece of paper. Here's a piece of paper. You do those on I'm going to be this and you be that. Let's play. Let's go.
Right. It's totally what we did. It's totally what our 8-year-old does all the time.
Right?
Yeah.
And they totally commit and they go and they have so much fun.
And he does it. You're this. Let me tell you about my new idea. This is this character, and here's why. And here's what he was thinking, and this is what was and it's just like, and he's doing it not because he thinks somebody might hear him and might want to do his show. And
or is he doing it right? Is anybody buying this? I don't know.
He's like, I buy it. I don't care if you buy it.
No, it's about the play. It's about going in and just playing.
Yeah. I know, you're right. It's a stupidly, ridiculously fun thing.
But as adults, we're like, let's go act. And then all
we do it very seriously.
Very serious. Like, I'm going to be a good actor now. I'm going to, it's like.
And then lose all that play. And then all of a sudden, it's not as good. It's
like, what? You're not having fun. Why are you not having fun?
So maybe you did need to just be terrified of it and go through that. Because now I think you have so much to impart to...
I had to. I mean, I had, you know, a couple of tiny little jobs. Like I was in Die Hard 2. And I had a scene with Bruce Willis. It was a 13-hour day. And I was living in complete terror the whole day.
Oh my god!
Playing the rent-a-car girl behind this thing, going, ah!
But you did it.
But I did it. But I went, oh, if this is what it feels like, I don't know that I want to do this for the rest of my life.
I totally understand that. Yeah.
And now when I get a job, it's just pure play.
And you're like, well, if this is what it's like, this is what I want.
This is what it is, yeah. And
Yeah.
someone's going to pay me to do it? What? Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Talk about a big turning point. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
or maybe there was many turning points throughout. I don't know.
There were, but I don't know that I would have hit where I am right now if I hadn't gone through those years of agony.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, and thank God I didn't become successful when I was in my 20s.
Oh, yeah, because you feel like you would not be the actor or the happy human maybe that you are today.
I would have walked around going, oh, wait, my trailer's not big enough. You're paying me how much? Where's my coffee? You know, I would have been one of those.
Yeah, you'd have been like, well, I'm successful, so this is what success looks like.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very interesting and good for you to, probably recognize, to be like, well, it sucked, but it sucked for a reason,
Right.
Is there another actor or like author or musician or anybody that you think these viewers should know about that you don't think enough people know about? Somebody you've discovered that you think should be discovered by more people?
I'm sure this is not a discovery at all, but like I said, I'm drawn to joy. I'm drawn to joy, and like Dave Grohl, the drummer from Nirvana, and the guy from Foo Fighters. This guy loves his art so much, and he loves jamming with other people, and just to watch his face, watch somebody really into their art, like his face is just pure joy, and when he plays, it's just pure joy. And he
this could be a rediscovery for anyone that has, not everybody probably has watched and noticed that.
No, but it's so funny. I actually have a black and white portrait of him in my
That's so
house.
cool.
Because every once in a while, if I get off track, I'm like, because one of my philosophies is just lead with joy. Oh. And so like every time I approach my art or teach a class or go to an audition or whatever, I'm like, just lead with joy, because other people, my friend used to say, oh my God, I loved it. I used to sit at a bar and like pose and wait for people to come and talk to me. And the first time I had my friend come, he goes, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean, what am I doing? He goes, what is that? No one's going to talk to you doing that. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, Lauren, people come to a bar to have fun. Have fun, and other people will come to you. Oh,
were you like, that was like a very like light bulb moment?
And all of a sudden I go to a bar and we'd start laughing. We'd have drinks bought for us all night. We'd always have somebody to dance with. We were surrounded by a huge group of people every single time we went out, because this guy was nothing but joy. Oh. Right? And it was like that weird thing, like, I just gotta have fun. And then people are go, what? You're having fun? I want to have fun with you.
Exactly. That's so human nature.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Isn't that so true? I love that. And that's true in anything. But especially nice for people to recognize in acting instead of being so serious. Like, you're having fun, I want to play.
Yeah. And you have moments where things go off kilter, or you feel you're not in your bones and things are not quite clicking. You just have to breathe and go, it's not that serious. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is where it is right now, and let's just go from there.
Matt was... He did the Radio City Christmas Spectacular for 5 seasons, and I think they used to be like, you know what, we're just singing and dancing here. You know what, you're not curing some huge thing. And my sister worked as a producer on the Radio City Christmas Spectacular, and people would come up to her like, somebody's heel fell off, and they would be panicked for anything. And Courtney, my sister, would be like, is there a heart in a cooler? Is there a heart in a cooler that we need to race to the hospital? Because if there isn't a heart in a cooler, we're gonna have to dial it back and realize that. We are just singing and dancing people. And that's great, and it's wonderful, and it's even a noble thing to be doing and useful, but we don't have to take it so seriously that we
it's fine. No one's dying.
It's
all good.
It's all good. Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
This is so fun to talk to you.
Fun.
Thank you so much for watching Discover Me TV. I have had so much fun here with Lauren. I'm Jordan Toronto, and please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. I'm Jordan Toronto, and thank you. I'm saying words that I don't like. Okay, here we go.